In almost all my videos and stills photography, both for my YouTube channel and in my professional work, I like my images to have a filmic look. And today, I'm going to show you a plugin that has made achieving that look a whole lot easier. So Dehancer reached out to me a little while ago asking if I wanted to try out their tool and let you know my thoughts about it. And so that's what this video is about. So color grading is one of those areas of filmmaking that I really enjoy, but I feel like I've got a bit of room for improvement when it comes to working in that space. And so when Dehancer reached out, I thought, well, let's see what other people are doing with this tool because it could be good. And I was really impressed with what I saw other creators out there doing with it. There was a few actually that I had already been following for a while, and I was really impressed with what they were able to achieve with it. And so I thought, let's give it a go. And honestly, I'm glad that I did because I was using this other method for a while, which had been really good, but it's just a bit clunky the way that it works, and it was causing some bottlenecks in terms of rendering and exporting files that I'd used that method with. And I thought before I actually get into using Dehancer and showing you what I've done with it, I thought I'd take a minute and actually show you the old method because I still think it's pretty good, and it's a really great option for someone who wants something that's free, basically, and actually all built into Premiere Pro except for the film grain, which we'll mention later in the video. But otherwise, if you think that this free method could be good for you, then stick around for a moment and check it out. But otherwise, if you just want to see what I've done with Dehancer, skip ahead to this point and you can see that there. But otherwise, let's get into that little tutorial for you. So basically, what we're working with here is a shot that's in Canon log, so it's obviously very flat. So to start things off, we're going to go into the input LUT here and pick Canon log 3. And then I still think it's a bit saturated, so I might drop that down to 80. Yeah, look, that's a good starting point. And then what I usually would do is I'll go into creative here. And then I quite like the look of the Fuji Eterna 250D Fuji blah 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 by Adobe, and so that is way too rich, so we'll drop that right back. Cool. And then next stage is duplicate your track. So I'm going to use Option, click and drag, and then that's going to pop it on top like that there. So what we'll have first is the Luma key. So we'll pop that on, and then we'll also grab a Gaussian blur. And so they both go on the top layer of the track here. Cool. All right. And then in terms of settings, what you want to do is I'll tend to set the Luma key to a threshold of 88 and then cut off at about 84. And so this is all done to taste. You don't have to use these settings for it to work. You can play around with it yourself and work out what's suitable for you. And then the Gaussian blur, this could be anywhere from, like 100 to 300. I've used sort of anything in between that. So we'll go with 200 for now. And there you go. So you can see the effect working already, but the biggest problem I'm noticing is that it's a bit too intense. And so that's where the opacity comes in here. So you can use that to dial it back. So I'll dial it back to 0 and then sort of warp it back in a little bit. And I reckon where it's just sort of starting to become visible is where I think I'd like to see it. What we can do is now turn the track off and on. So the one that we've applied the effects to, we can turn it on and off. And you can see so how much that's affecting it. And I think that's all right. That's pretty good. Okay, and so the next thing that we want to do is add our film grain. So we'll grab this. So looking this way, it's not going to do us any good if we can't see our footage. So we're going to go down to opacity and then choose overlay in the blend modes. And so now that's given us a bit of film grain. So that's pretty much it. I'm reasonably happy with that. I mean, I didn't pick the the most spectacular shot to show you all of this on, but otherwise I think you get the picture, and I'm sure you'll be able to sort of get a bit of insight in what this kind of thing could do for you and whether or not that might suit your project. So we'll get into seeing how I use Dehancer now, and the advantages I think that you can get from using a tool like that, and we'll see how that goes. First, let's check out the film emulations. So here, there are 60 options of different film stocks that you can emulate on your footage. From classic still stocks to motion picture film and to more specialty options. So I haven't gone through all the options in detail, but I've definitely landed on a few stocks that I keep coming back to. There's heaps of room to explore with so many to choose from, so if you give it a go, definitely make sure to take some time to scroll through your options and see what might work best for your project. Now my next favourite thing to use on Dehancer has been the bloom effect. So this is where the bright parts in your image look like they're sort of spilling into the surrounding areas. Traditionally, this would normally happen because of a combination of old lenses and the way emulsion in certain film stocks behaves in these kinds of conditions. So this is the part of my previous workflow that caused my system to grind to a near halt every time I tried to play it after an adjustment. So I was really stoked to have found something that gives me the look that I'm after without having to render it so often. So the next part is something I couldn't replicate with my previous workflow, but it can really take your footage to another level, and that's adding halation. In combination with bloom, this has been a huge help in giving the footage that little bit of extra something to sell that film look aesthetic. So what it does is it takes the very bright spots of your image, usually lights and reflections, and adds a reddish orange glow to them. So you want to be subtle with this one, as it can really easily go too far, but I really like the way it looks, especially on nighttime footage like this, and during the day as well, with light coming through the trees. It's a really good look. So I think my old method and Dehancer both look really good. The free old method is totally viable for someone casually editing stuff here and there. But when you're working professionally or feeding the algorithm beast, it's really important to refine your workflow. And for me, having something like Dehancer has helped with that in a big way by condensing a few of those old processes into one tool, and also being a little bit less labor intensive on my computer. Also, given that it has so many more options for different film stocks to choose from, and a whole suite of other features available that I haven't even covered here in this video, it's a really great option for editors taking on many different kinds of video production projects. And so that's how I've been using Dehancer for my videos. They actually gave me keys to try it out for Lightroom too, and it more or less does the same kind of things for your stills as it does for your video. But for me, I've already got some presets that I like that emulate film, and I've mainly been using it to add some bloom and halation, which has worked really well. So it's still definitely got a place in my workflow, both for stills and video. I hope you've enjoyed watching this and have got something out of it, and I just want to thank Dehancer so much for reaching out and asking me to try out your tool. I really think it's awesome, and I think it's going to really fit in well with my current workflow, and I'm grateful that it's helped smooth out some processes. It's definitely going to have a place in my videos and photos into the future. So I reckon if you're thinking of giving it a go grab the trial, see if you want to buy it, and if you do, use my promo code AFPhoto for 10% off. This has been my first collaboration on YouTube, and I'm grateful it's for a tool that I genuinely think is useful and really going to impact my workflow in a positive way. And so thanks so much for watching, and let me know what you think, and let me know if you've used Dehancer and how it's worked for you. And otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.